I gotta record this. I gotta use my inside voice.
Yeah.
We had to build up because of the, like you said, the concrete we had to take out made such a big step. So
it's pretty common, I think, for a lot of the multifamily buildings and stuff like that to have the concrete topping slab on the framing, the lightweight stuff.
Yeah.
So we end up demoing a lot of the time to get rid of that and then putting new plywood and coatings over the top of that. So in this situation specifically, we had a little bit of difficult time getting large columns into this area. So we had to change a little bit on the fly, but we made it work to have these large columns that are essentially existing. So you can see some of that in some of the photos there as we recreated what it would have been essentially as if it was one single tall column, which was the intent behind the initial design and engineering on it. So, and that was quite a process, right?
Oh yeah, everything had to be carried back here by hand. From the front street side, everything you see back here was carried by hand. All the glue lamps, all the beams, all the uprights, all the big bracket, everything.
So you can see right here, the orange layout right here. This is part of the new tapered insulation plan that we're gonna be installing here on this roof to help with some of the lower spots that you can see some of the darker discolored areas. That's where water has gathered and eventually was evaporated over time. But it's not the intent to have that stuff stay there in evaporation, not with the type of system that we're installing. The intent of the original design was to get it over there. However, you can see that there was quite a few obstacles in the way for water to work from all the way from this edge to get all the way over there. There's quite a few things that it runs into. So things like building up of the tapered installation or installing crickets, things of that nature helps to move that water away from these obstructions in its path to drain. Talking about with the superintendent earlier about the limited space that we have between the buildings and tighter quarters like this. You can't get a forklift back here, the ground's uneven, you can't bring materials back here except pretty much by hand. Dip under, so watch your head as it comes through. So here's some examples of some of the finished portion of this building. So you have the windows in place already, the trim, head flashings, and the siding surrounding it that is in place already. They went with a tan colored window on this one. They're gonna go with a similar tan color to the siding that's adjacent to us. This is an architectural panel by the same manufacturer, James Hardie, but it is a sandstone look type to it. I can't remember if that's exactly the name, but it's a sandstone look. So they've finished all of those nail heads that you see that holds it in place. You can see that it's all finished over, so it's smooth, but you still have the texture around it. You can feel it a little bit. So when this gets painted, you'll still be able to see the texture, but you won't see those nail heads. Is that good? So down below us down here is the deck surface. It's got a new top coat on it. Above us, you have the fire rated sheathing. So this is a fiberglass face sheathing with gypsum stuck in between. You can see that if you get a little close up on it. You can see the gypsum that you would see drywall in your house made up of the same stuff, just a different finish on the outside edge of it. This is a fiberglass. It's a lot more water resistant than what would be considered a paper face gypsum, which is what we see on a lot of buildings that we end up doing remediations on. That paper face gypsum absorbs water at a much higher rate than this fiberglass does. So not only is it providing that fire rating, it's also a lot more resistant to moisture and water than some of the other gypsum that we've seen at existing buildings that we investigate from time to time. So at this building, we started with the reframing of the walkways and the decks because of the extent of damage that we saw at the beams and columns that supported those areas. After we did that reframing, we went into the walls. We opened those up to take a look at the framing inside those and replaced as necessary. And then once that was done, we covered it up with a fire rated sheathing or plywood sheeting when there was shear values required. And then after that, we started to put the WRB in place, which is that Tyvek paper that you'll see. WRB integrated with windows at the same time so that you can get things properly lapped inside and protected, starting at that framing and sheathing level. And then we start to go in the WRB, the windows, and then following all that, you come through and you start to install the surfaces, the horizontal surfaces, such as the soffits and the deck topping coats and things like that, so that then when you come back with the rain screen assembly system throughout the siding, which you can see with the furring strips and the Cor-A-Vents, which is a name brand, it's actually just a vented portion of the bottom there, then that helps with the drainage aspect, and that's why it's called a rain screen system. If water were to ever get behind it, it allows it to drain out. Over the top of the rain screen system, that's where we're gonna start seeing some of that finished product like the siding, the trim, and the sealants, and then we get the paint over the top of all of that. Additionally, at this condo, we did a new flat roof up top where we tore it all the way down to the plywood to check the plywood and the framing underneath that. And then we came back with a PVC membrane over the top of a fire rated sheathing, as well as tapered insulation in select areas where the slope wasn't already needed, or where the slope was needed. System right here, we use what's called a quick flash panel. Again, another ease of installation thing. You could sit here and flash it out with a self-adhered flashing, which I don't have him right here, but you would wrap it around the J box, the junction box that you have right here for a light fixture or for something else. You would flash around that, and it's a lot more intricate detailing. Or you can purchase one of these products, which is called a quick flash product. It sits over the top of that, and it has this rubber seal that goes around here. So now you can come back and you can just install the trim around that and the sealant, and you know that you have a really good watertight seal using this rubber gasket that's integrated with this panel right here. A lot of times when HOAs go through reclads like this and re-roofs as well, it increases the value of their units by a significant amount. But the main part of what we're doing is the waterproofing aspect. It ups the value along with anything that you may do to the interior of it if you're doing any of that work. New windows, new siding, new waterproofing stuff, new decks, all are big value increases for a homeowner.